1, 2.
All right, here she is.
3, 4, 5.
Okay.
Alrighty.
All right. I don't think you're frozen because she's working.
She's fine. Alrighty.
We're
Okay.
gonna watch this.
3 years ago, I decided to cut out meat out of my diet. At first, it was just an attempt to lose weight for bikini season. However, after the summer was over, I realized going back to meat wasn't an option. From that point, I realized how much cutting out meat had changed my life. It changed me physically as I just started to feel better. I had more energy, I lost weight, and was capable of much more than before. As a plant-based dieter of over 3 years, I have personally seen its benefits. Switching to a plant-based diet is incredibly beneficial to an individual's health. In this speech, I will explain the crises of dietary diseases such as heart disease, cancer, and their link to obesity. I will explain how animal-based diets lead to such dietary diseases. And I will explain how switching to a plant-based diet acts as a solution to both of these problems. Heart disease and many other preventable diseases are in a crisis rate in America. As according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, about 610,000 people die of heart disease every year. This equates to 1 in every 4 deaths. At the same time, BMI and obesity rates are also at their highest in the U.S. They are highest in the U.S. as compared to any other country. Everyday Health explains that the United States is the home to the highest number of obese and overweight people in the world. In the U.S., 70.9% of men and 61.9% of women are overweight or obese, compared to 38% of men and 36.9% of women worldwide. The cause of these preventable diseases are an omnivorous diet. Processed meats like hot dogs and lunch meat have been directly linked to cancer. As according to American Cancer Society, they are classified as a type 1 carcinogen or a known carcinogen. This means they have been proven to cause cancer in some people, and they are on the same level as risk factors like plutonium and tobacco smoking. This extends further than just processed meats. All meats are within some type of carcinogen category as according to the list of the American Cancer Society. By cutting out meat completely, you reduce cancer risk incredibly. Heart disease is also caused by a poor diet, mainly one high in animal products. As according to Medline Plus, the American Heart Association recommends eating a healthy diet that limits to 5 to 6% of calories from saturated fat in order to reduce heart disease risk. Foods with a lot of saturated fats are mostly animal products like butter, cheese, ice cream, and fatty meats like bacon. Choosing vegan options would completely eliminate these animal products from your diet and completely get rid of the options to eat high in saturated fat. This would therefore reduce your risk of heart disease. Obesity is then closely connected to these diseases as well, and obesity is also caused by a poor diet. As according to Stanford Healthcare, heart disease and atherosclerosis is present 10 times more often in obese people compared to those who are not obese. Because the risk of heart disease is raised in those who are obese, changing one's diet will reduce both, as reducing weight will reduce risk of heart disease. A plant-based diet is a healthy diet, so it follows all federal guidelines and actually bypasses many of the limitations set forth by an omnivorous diet. As according to the USDA guidelines, you should limit cholesterol and saturated fats, which are found mostly in animal products, like eggs and dairy. For every food group, there are vegan options that are presented as a viable option according to those guidelines. A vegan diet is included as a healthy diet according to these regulations and eliminates a lot of the heavily regulated foods, therefore reducing risk of obesity and the diseases associated with it. A plant-based diet in some cases can actually reverse some of these diseases. The Permanente Journal explains that the results of a vegan diet swap experiment yielded 82% of those who followed the plant-based diet had some level of regression of their atherosclerosis, and 91% had a reduction in their frequency of angina episodes. However, with the control group who were fed an omnivorous American Heart Association diet, had a 53% progression of atherosclerosis. A vegan diet can actually reverse the effects of the top killer diseases in America at a staggering statistic. If it can reduce obesity and heart disease and cancer, it reduces the top reasons for premature death in America. Dietary diseases such as heart disease, cancer, and others are at an all-time high, nearing their linked disease, obesity. Animal product-based diets lead to these dietary diseases, and by switching to a plant-based diet, you lower your caloric intake and animal products, reducing risk of obesity and the other diseases. 3 years ago, I decided to make the switch to a plant-based diet, changing my life for the better. Now that option sits before you as well, so make the right choice.